Hello, welcome back to my channel, and in today's video we're going to be looking at one of the most confusing things about reading Thai, so bear with me and please don't expect to understand everything in your first watch. So these things take time, you just have to watch it over and over and just keep on practicing. Now this video will be suitable for you if you've already watched how to read Thai tones video, if you already know all of the classes, if you already know the silent H, if you already know all of the vowels. This is a more advanced reading practice / lesson. So in this video we're going to have a look at what to do when you see double initial consonants. Now sometimes when you don't see a vowel, it could mean a few things. So your first guess should be, if you don't see a vowel, it's an O sound. In this case, it is not double initial consonants, right? Because you've got an initial consonant, nonu, you've got an ending consonant, gogai, and you've got a vowel, but you just don't see it. The vowel here is O. So, O vowel disappears completely when there's an ending consonant. Right, so that was not a case of double initial consonants, it's just a case of a vowel changing. Now, let's have a look at double initial consonants. So that is when you see two initial consonants, you see or don't see a vowel if it's an O sound, and then there could be an ending consonant, or there might not be an ending consonant. So it could be one of the three things. The first thing is it could be ho, nam, or in English, silent H. I've spoken about this in my How to Read Thai Tones video, so if you haven't watched that yet, please do, otherwise you will not understand the rest of the video. Let's do a quick recap on the silent H. What is it and why do we use it? So as you know that in Thai there are 5 tones and only the middle class consonants can use all 5 tones. With high class and low class they have to work together to get all 5 tones, because high class can only make 3 tones and low class can only make 3 tones. So how they work together is, you have the paired low class consonants. So for example, you have theทอทหารand ทอถุง, right? So ทอทหาร ta, 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 and then you have ทอถุง ta, ta, ta. You put them together, you get all 5 tones. Ta, 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 ta. With the unpaired ones, you have to use หอหีบ to do that. So for example, let's do nonu alone in the low class. So you get na, na, na. And then if you add ho heap to it, so that's going to follow the high class tone rules. So it's going to be na, na, na. And you put them together, you get na, 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 na. All 5 tones. So that's just a quick recap on the silent H. Let's have a look at the second possibility. So if it's not a silent H, it could be a cluster. In Thai, it's called kam kwap glam. You do have this in English as well, like for example in the word glide, glide. So yeah, you've got the gl, gl sound. So yeah, so a cluster is when you read the 2 letters together. And in Thai, usually when there's an initial consonant followed by rอเรือ ลอลิง or วอแหวน. So for example, if I use the กอไก่ sound, กราบ 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 กล้วย กล้วย กว่า กว่า. Now in Thai, there's true clusters and false clusters. So the true ones are the ones that you can actually hear them. So for example, what we just said, like กราบกราบกล้วยกล้วยกว่า กว่า The fourth ones are the ones where you don't hear the sound of it. So for example, usually when there's like an S sound like ซอเสือ or ซอสลา or จอจาน even followed by รอเรือ so in that case you don't pronounce the รอเรือ for example the word to build สร้างสร้าง the word for sad เศร้าเศร้าเศร้า the word for true จริงจริงจริง Now, just to add to the mix, there's also this thing where ทอทหาร and รอเรือ together makes a s sound, like ทรายทรายทราบทราบ Now, let's have a look at the third scenario. So, if you see two initial consonants and it's not a silent H, it's not a cluster, chances are it's the following. So the first letter is read with an a sound, and the second letter is read with the vowel that you see or you don't see if it's an o again, and the ending consonant if there's one. And also there's some extra tone rules to be applied, which is what we'll be discussing today. So we're going to start with the first rule. So this is the first and the most common one. So if you find the rest of the video a bit overwhelming, you can just study just this one, because chances are the words that you come across will follow this rule. So if the first letter belongs to the middle class or the high class, and the second letter is in the unpaired low class group, so what you do is the first letter is read with an a sound. So let's have a look at this example, the word for snack or sweet. So ขอไข่ belongs to the high class, right? So you read that separately with an a vowel. So you read ka, ka, ka. And then nonu, which belongs to the low unpaired. So you read that with the rest of what you're seeing. So you see mama as an ending consonant. You don't see a vowel. Again, that means it's an o sound. So you just read it as if ขอไข่ wasn't there, which normally that would sound like nom, right, with a midtone. But because of this extra rule, you have to add a silent H to it just to change the tone. So instead of reading it normally, like how you would read it when it's in a low class, like nom, you add a silent H to it. With what it does is just changing the tone to be nom, nom. So you read ka nom, ka nom. Let's have a look at the next word. So this word means airport. So you see ซอเสือ and nonu together like that. You see a vowel, you see an ending consonant. You need to split it up. So ซอเสือ will then be read with an a sound. So sa, sa. Now usually you would read the next one, nam, nam, right? Nam with a midtone. However, remember we need to add the silent H to it. So it becomes nam, nam, nam with a rising tone. Sa nam, sa nam bin, sanam bin. Also notice how I didn't say sa nam bin like that when I'm saying it fast. I just go sanam bin because that's how you do it. When you say the word fast, you just go sanam bin, sanam bin. Next up, we've got a funny word that means funny. So again, the first letter is read separately with an a sound. So ta, ta. And the second one, you don't see a vowel. So again, that's an o vowel. And you've got a kokai ending. Now, usually you would read that lok, lok, lok with a high tone. The reason being lolling is in a low class and is a dead syllable and it's short. So that would have been lok, lok, However, remember how we have to add hor-heap to it. We have to add that silent H to it. So now it becomes lok, lok, ta lok, ta lok, ta lok. Right, next we've got this one. Again, ta tao is read separately. So ta, ta. And usually that would have been lad, lad with a falling tone, right? Because that's long sound and it's a dead syllable. But again, we have to add the silent H to it. So it becomes lad, lad, talad. It means market. Let's have a look at the word all the time. So you might recognize the word time, wela. So let's have a look at the first one. So again, ta tao, we're going to read that separately. Ta, ta. Now the second one, it would have been lord with a falling tone. But again, we're adding hor-heap to it. So it's lord, lord, ta, lord, talod, talod wela. If you would like to stop here and do some practicing, you can go to the end of the video and practice. But if you would like to learn other rules as well, please continue. In the next rule, we've got a high class consonant being the first letter and a middle class consonant being the second letter. Again, the first letter takes an a vowel and the second letter is read with the rest of what you're seeing. Now, you can't really add the silent H to a middle class consonant anyway, so just leave it as it is. So for example, this word, it means like to show or to perform. So we've got saw sữa, which is read separately, sa, sa. And then the rest of the word, dang, dang, sadang. Let's try other examples. So try reading this word yourself first because it's a word that you already know. Right, we're splitting saw sữa and the rest of the word. So saw sữa is read with an a sound, sa. And then read the next one normally. Spain, 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 which is Spain, the country. Next up, we've got this word. It means like, it's like the equivalent to pence, like you've got pound and then pence. So in Thai, you've got baht, like a Thai baht, and then this word. So this word can also be used to say money as well in colloquial Thai. Again, we're splitting saw sữa, so sa, sa, and then read the rest normally. Tang. Remember how that's a silent mark, so you don't read kho khwai. Satang, satang. The next word means to swear, as in like to curse, like to say a bad word. So we're splitting them up again. Saw sữa is read with an a sound, so sa. And then you just read the second one normally. And again, you don't see a vowel, so that's an o sound. Bot. Now that's a low tone because it's a dead syllable. Sabot, sabot. Now, next word is an English word that is written in Thai, so try to read it yourself fast. So, saw sữa is read separately with an a sound, sa. And then we've got a cluster there. We've got tr, 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 strong, 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 which is strong. The Thai word for strong is actually keng rang. But yeah, if you would like to anglicize it, that's how you would write it in Thai. Moving on to the next one, if you've got a high class consonant and a low class consonant together, but it's in the paired group. Again, you can't really add a silent H to the paired low class consonants. You can only do that with unpaired ones, right? So just leave it as it is. So the first one takes an a sound. And the second one, just read it normally. So for example, this word, which means like to face, like to encounter. So pa, pa. And then the second bit, just read it with the rest. Now that vowel is an vowel. Passion, passion, passion. Next, we've got a high class and a high class. And again, you don't have to add a silent H there because the whole purpose of adding a silent H is so that you can follow the rules for high class consonants, right? Now, this is already in the high class, so just read it as it is. Let's have a look at this word. It means to mix. So, the first letter takes an A sound. Pa, pa, pa. And then the second one, you don't see a vowel, it's an O sound. So, som, som, pasom, pasom. Next, we've got low class and low unpaired. So, in this case, you don't add a silent H to it because you only do that when the first letter belongs in the middle class or the high class. Yeah? So let me write it out so you see a clear distinction. So if the first letter is in the middle class or high class, you have to add a silent H to it. But if it's low and paired, then you don't. Just leave it and read it as it is. For example, this word means power. So we've got pa, pa. Now that's a high tone because it's a dead syllable and it's short. The second bit, we don't add a silent H to it, so we just read it normally. Lang, lang, lang. Palang, palang. Let's try some examples. So, this word, again, we split it and we say pa. That takes an A sound. Again, it's shortened that, so it's high. And then the second bit is just ya, ya, paya. Let's try this word. It means to attempt. So we've got pa, pa, and then ya, yam. Pa, ya, yam, payayam. When you're saying it fast, you will hear like payayam, payam, payam. You wouldn't hear pa, ya, yam. You will hear like payayam. It's more subtle. Next word means syllable. Again, we've got that silent mark. So, pa, that's read separately, and then yang, yang. Payang. Now, remember the silent H? There's something very similar. It's a silent oang. So this is basically literally the same as silent H. However, there's only 4 words in Thai that have silent oang. The first word is ya, 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 which means don't. The second word is you, 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 which means to live, to stay. And then we've got yang, yang, like, as in, for example. It's also a classifier for things as well. Ya, ya, which is to want. Now let's practice, shall we? And as I said, the majority of the time, it's going to be the first rule that we looked at, where you add that silent H to it. So let's have a look. Split it up. Ka, ka. And then add the silent H. Nom, nom. Kanom, kanom. Ka, ka. Yang, yang. Kayang, kayang. Cha, cha. Muak, muak. Chamuak, chamuak. Ta, ta. Nut, nut. Tanat, tanat. Ta, ta. Win, win. Tawin. So that lolling, when it's an ending consonant, it gives an N sound. Pa, ผะหนวกหนวกผนวกผะลิดลิดผลิตผะลึกผลึก Next word means guava. However, as a slang, it means foreigners. ฝรั่งฝรั่งฝรั่งสงบสงบกะนกกะนกกะนก Actually, fun fact, my name, like my first name in Thai, is written like this because I was born on Monday and you're not supposed to see a vowel in your name, otherwise it's considered unlucky. Let's try to read it together. So you just saw that word earlier. So, ka, nok, kanok, kanok. That's the first bit. Kanok. And then we've got an o sound because you don't see a vowel, so that's an o sound. Nop, nop, kanok, nop. จะรวดจรวดจะริดจริต Again, the totao ending gives the same sound as dodic ending. ตะหนุตะหนุตะลาดตลาดตะหวาดตวาดทอทหาร ending gives the same sound as dodic ending. So this is ปะรอดปะรอดI mentioned in one of my videos that you cannot have two ending sounds in Thai. So here, roria has to go. So, and again, totao sounds like a D, like a dodic when it's an ending consonant. So it's just parit, parit. Next word means delicious or yummy. I think you must have seen this word before or must have heard of it before. Roi, aroi. Aroi. Let's try a more complicated exercise. This one involves clusters as well. So let's see. Ka, yuk, ka, yik, kayuk, kayik, kayuk, kayik. Now that's a cluster because you see rorua after kokwai. So that's a kr, kr, kr sound. Kr. ครอบครอบครัวครัวครอบครัวครอบครัว We talked about this earlier, how ทอทหาร and รอเรือ together makes a s sound instead. So, in sea, in sea. Now, next one is quite tricky because we've learnt that usually when the second letter is either roria, loling, or wawen, it's usually a cluster, right? However, with this word, it's not, so sometimes you just have to learn the word in order to know if it's a cluster or if the first one is going to take an a sound, right? But I mean, to be fair, with this word, you could have guessed that it's not a cluster because try to put the ch sound and a l sound together. Chilla, chilla. It doesn't really make a cluster sound, like it's not smooth like how you would say glap, glap, glap. So this one, the cha-ching takes an a sound, and then the next one you just add a silent h to it. ฉลาดเฉลียวฉลาดเฉลียวฉลาดเฉลียว Now that's a cluster because you can do bl 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 sound. So เปลี่ยนแปลงเปลี่ยนแปลงAgain, we've got the ทอทหาร and รอเรือ together making a s sound. พุทธาพุทธาWith this word, it's quite tricky because ทอทหาร has two jobs here. The first job is to be an ending consonant, which of course it gives a D sound, put, put. And the second job is to be an initial consonant, which when combined with รอเรือ it gives a S sound. พุทธาพุทธา Next we've got สนุกสนานสนุกสนานสนุกสนานขยับขยายขยับขยายขยับขยาย In this word, notice there's an S with a รอเรือ and remember when there's an S sound or จอจาน with the รอเรือ you don't pronounce the รอเรือ so here is just ศรัทธาศรัทธาอะเร็ดอะร่อยอร็ดอร่อยอร็ดอร่อย and that's it Thank you so much everyone for watching. I know it's a bit long and you may need to watch this a few times, but you've got this and have a lovely day. Bye!